on the rails again, steaming toward Mickey Starland and all points beyond. Those that have just joined us, welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Railroad.
Scruff, don't be scared. Come on up. Come on up and hug your pup.
Yeah, Scruffy, just
Come here.
look at that.
Come here. Come here, back, Scruff. So today's August 9th, Wednesday, 1995, just for the camera. Scruff's all right off now. Say hi, Scruff.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to Norwalk High School and the Carver 4th Annual Karate Championships. We begin our competition with black belt weapons. Joining me today is Doug Peoples, Tournament Director. Doug, good evening to you.
How you doing, Bruce, this evening?
Good. This is Steve Best, up first. We will show you the 4-place winners of most of the competition and the first place finals of most of the fighting. We will eliminate the eliminations on most of these bouts. Steve Best is a student of Tang Soo Do. What is he, a third degree?
He's a third degree black belt. Studies under Robert Chizik out of Waterbury. He's also my instructor, Mr. Robert Chizik. Steve and I go back a long ways. He taught me most of what I know in the Tang Soo Do system. Steve is going to do a traditional bow form. It's called Shibuto. And you'll notice a lot of flowing action and motion in it.
Very expressive, a lot of ki-eyeing, which Mr. Best is noted for. He is rated in Karate Illustrated, is he?
Yeah, Steve is ranked number 4 in New England in Karate Illustrated. And, he goes all over the New England area competing in forum competition and using his bow technique.
Has this kata ever won him a first place before?
Steve was the reigning champ for 3 years for the AAUs, and he's the man to beat in New England, along with several other gentlemen like Ron Bouchard.
Here's his score now. 24.5 was the recorded score of Steve Best. A good score, a tough one to beat.
So you're going to find Steve's going to be, if not at the top, somewhere near the top through all his competitions.
And up now is Mike Bogdanski. And he's a student of what form of the martial arts?
Mike is also out of the Chizik Tang Soo Do Federation. Mike like a lot of people, has 2 black belts. He came over to our system about 3 to 4 years ago, and he started back as a white belt and worked his way up to being a 3rd degree black belt in our system. Mike is out of Danielson, Connecticut, and he teaches a club up at Nichols College in Rhode Island.
And is he doing another traditional Tang Soo Do form with the bow here?
Yes, Mike has been working very hard on these forms lately. He's been taking 2nd, 3rd, and 1st place. Just this past year, I think he's been working on this bow form.
Maybe we can explain to the viewing public how competitors get ranked in Karate Illustrated.
Well, competitors get ranked by going to various tournaments, and if they finish in 1st place, they'll get a certain number of points, and if they finish in 3rd place, they'll get a certain number of points, and all those results are sent in to Karate Illustrated, and they're compiled, and every month a new rating comes out. So if you miss a month of competition, you can drop from 1st to off the list.
So ideally, the more tournaments you enter in, the better chance of getting a higher rating.
Yes, especially if you go out of state. If you go out of state, you can double your point output. If we went from here to New York and competed, let's say instead of getting 5 points, you get 10 points.
This was videotaped earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mike Bogdanski. Another competitor here in the weapons black belt, and his score was also a 24.5. As it later turned out, we added the high and low of each score, and Steve Best won over Mike Bogdanski. But we have another competitor here, Eric Chin, also a rated competitor.
Well, Eric really isn't rated as of yet in New England because he does not compete as much as he should in the New England area. Eric does a very good form. Eric is with what's known as the wushu style of martial arts. You see a lot of flashiness in his techniques. He's out of Westport, Connecticut, and really he's a local boy, and he's fun to watch.
We might also explain to the viewers how the scoring takes place. There are 5 judges, Each judge awards a score from 1 to 10 to the competitor. The high and the low score is dropped, and the remaining 3 scores are added together to give a total score. In the event of a tie like there was between Stephen Best and Mike Bogdanski, the high and the low are added in, and a winner is determined.
Exactly, Bruce. You notice that Eric is using 2 weapons. He's using a long chain-like weapon, which I really do not know the name of, and a sword. So you have to have a lot of skill and agility for it.
Definitely an exercise in hand-eye coordination. That was Eric Chin. He scored a 25 in the black belt weapons competition. And finally, our 4th placed, and I don't mean 4th place, but 4th placed competitor in this black belt weapons competition is Ron Bouchard, an Isshinryu karate competitor, my old style.
Yeah, Ron is ranked in New England. Ron is one of the traditional type karate practitioners in New England. He's using what's known as size, and they take a lot of hand and eye coordination, because those babies drop on your toe, you're gonna know. He's flipping him out just so as you're striking somebody in the head and your face, then you're using the blunt end of it to take him out.
What are the judges looking for as they score these competitors?
Well, they're looking for style, they're looking for grace, they're looking for the ability to put that weapon into a form type technique. You can go out there and be flashy if you want, but you might not have the form. Ron there just did a high block and a low block.
Definitely demonstrating technique, poise, grace in such an aggressive form.
Yes, the same type you would see if you did not have a weapon in your hand.
Bouchard scores a 24 in that competition, and the tallies are in, the scores are in, and Eric Chin is the 1st place winner of the black belt weapons competition. Stephen Best taking 2nd, Mike Bogdanski taking 3rd, and Ron Bouchard taking 4th in the competition. News 12's Bill Liggins talked to Eric Chin following his competition. And we have that report.
Seems like you always win these kind of events, doesn't it?
Not always. Consistency is a problem for many competitors.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to work hard to achieve that.
Yeah. Now, what is it about your forms that always draw the high scores? Is it considered flashy or what?
It is considered flashy. In my sport, we shoot for flashiness. We're not ashamed to admit that. We're going for the most difficult technique all the time, going for most difficult weapon, highest jump, highest kicking, most beautiful posture we could think of.
You certainly did that out there. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I was happy.
Thank you.
Eric Chin, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the black belt weapons competition. Now here's Karen Harvey, number 2 ranked competitor in fighting. And what is she ranked in forms?
She's ranked among the men. When they do the ranking for form competition, they rank the men and the women together. So she is ranked, I think she is ranked now number 5 in New England. And that's a lot of stiff competition you're talking about.
That is, when you're rating with the men, the competition is stiffer. Do they allot for her being a woman? Are they easier on the women than they are on the men?
No, they do not. They score her the same as they would anyone else. In karate, you don't separate the men and women that much. Maybe in fighting, they'll get separated, but in foreign competition, you go out there and you take your lumps like everybody else.
Karen Harvey, another Bob Chizik's student.
She definitely is, and she is feared wherever she goes. If she goes to a competition and she walks in the door, the people start thinking about her. She's the person to beat.
What degree black belt is Karen?
Karen is a 3rd degree black belt also.
In the Korean form of the Korean style of Tang Soo Do.
It's more of a hard style Korean style.
Karen Harvey.
Aaron Harvey ended up with a score of 25.5.
which was good enough for a victory in women's black belt forms. Stephen Best now in the black belt hard form competition, to be distinguished between the black belt soft forms competition, which we'll see some highlights of a little later on. Stephen Best took second in the black belt weapons competition.
Now Steve is doing another traditional Korean form, which he uses a lot of hand coordination, a lot of punches, a lot of kicks. And when Steve does a form, he makes people listen to him. He's yelling, he's jumping. They have to pay attention to him. The judges have to watch him.
Again, a very expressive form, Stephen Best, ladies and gentlemen.
Stephen did win the form competition with a score of 24.5.
24.5, and this is the black belt soft forms competition. Now, this doesn't look like soft forms, and what is the ruling on having two people do a form?
Well, it's new. You don't see too much of it around in tournament competition. This is Little John Davis, who studies under Ron Johnson out of New York, and he's doing a two-man form competition, and when you notice, the crowd loves it because it shows a little more action, what the form is really like. And Little John Davis and his partner did win that competition
with a score of 26.5, a very high score for this competition. Here is the winners. Fourth place winner on your right of Eric Chin. There's Eric Chin, who took third place.
And Ron Johnson, who just jumped over, took second place.
And here are our winners of the black belt soft form competition for 1983.
Little John Davis.
Little John Davis in the green. Of course, he didn't do this alone, though, Doug.
You know, he had a partner out there, and when you're doing a two-man form, it helps to have that other person.
And that's what they're doing. They're bringing him out. They're going to share this victory.
Ooh, he shared it, right? He just had a little fun with him.
They shared that.
They work on this routine day in and day out. And that's his instructor right next to him, Ron Johnson. So you know that he's
right.
Father.
That wraps up the soft form competition. We have a lineup here for the men's hard form competition, in which Stephen Best took first place. And here that is. Ron Bouchard took second place. And Little Ichiban out of Bridgeport took a third place. And Ron Johnson took the fourth place. Stephen Best, ladies and gentlemen. The second trophy of the evening, first being the first place weapons competition.
Steve takes home a lot of trophies. I think he catches a lot of heck when he gets home with them because he's not the one that has to dust them.
That's true. Bob Safarian you'll see later on in the middleweight competition. We talked to Stephen Best following his competition.
Congratulations, Steve. Where do you pull all that gusto from when you're doing your forms?
Well, I actually think that when you do forms, you should do it like it's fighting, and that's what forms are about. So when I'm out there doing forms, I fight.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where the gusto comes from.
Yeah, it's sort of like shadow boxing.
It sure is. You know, if you're really going to do forms, then you got to do them right. You should do them like you really are fighting.
Well, you certainly did it right. Congratulations.
Thank you very much again.
Stephen Best, first place, hard black belt forms. And speaking of Steve Best, this is little Joe Riley in our highlight here. Joe, a student of Stephen Best, took second place in underbelt weapons with this bow nunchuck akata. Second to Robert Dutch, who took a first with a three-section staff form. Got him 22.5 points. 1/2 of a point more than Joe, who got 20.